Welcome, everyone. I'm Allison Jaden. I'm a Special Projects Manager in the Maryland Department of the Environment's Climate Change Program. Happy to be with you today for, I think it's our fourth Climate Pollution Reduction Grant Info and Q&A session. Very, very happy to be with you all. We're recording the first part of the session when I'll go through some of our info status updates, and then we will close the recording and open up for Q&A. I've got two colleagues with me from our climate change program at MDE, Josie Schwartz and Christian, who are going to help make sure things run smoothly. You're welcome to put questions in the chat. We'll get to them when we open up for the Q&A, and Christian's been doing an awesome job keeping track of all those questions and updating our frequently asked questions on the website. So we will make sure that the content of that Q&A session is available for others, but sometimes folks maybe feel a little bit more comfortable coming off mute and asking their questions if we don't have the recording going on. So if you wouldn't mind, keep yourself on mute during the info session part of this, and then we'll go ahead and come off mute and have hopefully an open discussion after I go through some of our updates. So our updates from MDE are going to cover our Priority Climate Action Plan under the CPRG program, the Comprehensive Climate Action Plan under the CPRG program, and our implementation grants. We'll also, I'll make yet another plug for our new Maryland Local Government Climate Action Support Program that we're really excited to be kicking off with support from the Environmental Finance Center at the University of Maryland. And like I said, after I share some of our updates today, I really am looking forward to dialogue with you and answering any questions that I'm able to. I know many of you have joined for prior sessions, and so some of this information is a repeat, but it is important to give context for those who have not joined us before. The objectives for the Climate Pollution Reduction Grant for Maryland mirror the objectives for the EPA, who have launched this program as a part of the Inflation Reduction Act to tackle damaging climate pollution, accelerate work to address environmental injustice, deliver cleaner air, and for Maryland, we want to ensure that Maryland is competitive for federal implementation funding from the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law and the Inflation Reduction Act, and drive successful local level implementation for greenhouse gas emission reductions projects and programs. Our CPRG timeline, we're getting some check marks here, everyone. We're moving along in this process. We submitted our letters of intent, as I shared with you all last month. We submitted our letters of intent under the implementation grant phase of this program to the EPA on February 1st. And then I'm very excited to share with you all that we successfully submitted our Priority Climate Action Plan to the EPA on March 1st and also posted it up on our website. And we are working at a rapid pace to meet the April 1st upcoming deadline for the implementation grants due to the EPA. Looking a little bit further out, hard for me to look much further than beyond April 1st, as you might imagine, but looking a little further out, we'll be submitting a comprehensive climate action plan under the CPRG to the EPA in July of 2025, and then a status report in 2027. So there's a long road ahead of a lot of successful, we think, work under the CPRG program. We're really excited about that. MDE is leading the state planning grant under the CPRG, and we are providing statewide coordination and delivering plans that cover the entire state of Maryland. We have also launched, and as I'll talk about a little bit more later on, a local support program for the 12 counties that were not otherwise covered by the 3 MSA planning grants here on the slide. And it's been a real pleasure to be working with the MSA planning grants as well. And there are 3 that include Maryland jurisdictions: the Baltimore Columbia Towson MSA. That planning grant is being led by the Baltimore Metropolitan Council, the Philadelphia Camden Wilmington MSA. That planning grant is led by the Delaware Valley Regional Planning Commission, and the Washington Arlington Alexandria MSA. That planning grant is being supported by the Metropolitan Washington Council of Governments. MDE is coordinating with all of those Metropolitan Statistical Area, or MSA, planning grants as a steering committee member and technical committee member participant to ensure coordination across all of this great work happening across our state, around our region, and around the country. So our PCAP, the Priority Climate Action Plan, was the first deliverable that we were required to submit to the EPA as a part of our CPRG planning grant. And MDA successfully delivered its PCAP to the EPA on March 1st, and we did post it up on the website, and you all can take a look at it. It was really neat to see just the magnitude of this CPRG program. Maryland joined 45 states plus DC and Puerto Rico in delivering PCAPs under the program, as well as numerous metropolitan statistical areas. The plans that were submitted to the EPA as a part of that of the CPRG program, those priority climate action plans, the EPA shared with us, cover 96% of the U.S. population, all working together in really a big step for climate action, I think, across the country. So that was both really exciting, but also demonstrates to us a little bit just how competitive this next phase that we're in right now of the grant program will be. As many of you who have participated in these info sessions before have seen or heard me talk about, our PCAP was developed using our existing Maryland greenhouse gas inventories, our prior state climate plans, built off of the work on the Maryland Climate Pathway Report, which was shared publicly in the summer of 2023. All of the stakeholder feedback, which was quite robust, that we heard as in reaction to the Maryland Climate Pathway Report, and then the Maryland Climate Pollution Reduction Plan, which was published online in December of 2023. We then also did a request for information from folks to get input on measures or projects that reduce greenhouse gas emissions across the state. We received and compiled over 300 such measures that help to inform the development of the PCAP. So thanks to all that submitted input into that process. It both reflected and influenced the development of the PCAP, but will also be very important in how we engage and step into the next planning phase of the CPRG program, which is to develop the comprehensive climate action plan due to the EPA. And that is a typo. It's not, oh, yeah, no. Okay, we're good. 2025. I'm like, it's not for this year. I'm not ready for another plan. So yes, July 2025. And we will be updating our website and sharing information about how to engage in that process over the coming weeks. So we are in the thick of this second phase of the CPRG program through the implementation grant. The NOFO and all of the instructional information is available on the EPA's website. Eligible entities are states or local governments or coalitions of such eligible entities, and the objectives are to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 2030 and beyond, deliver community benefits, complement other funding sources, and develop innovative policies that can be, or programs that can be scaled up. I've shared this with the group here, but just to reiterate how this is a competitive grant. Unlike the planning grants that were distributed by formula funding, the CPRG implementation grants will be competitively awarded by the EPA. They have offered this summary as a description of the funding tiers and how they will evaluate the proposals. So the EPA will be evaluating and selecting proposals on a tier by tier basis. And you can see the number of awards they expect to award nationwide. Just seeing the number of awards here and the number I shared with you of the PCAPs delivered, you can all imagine just how competitive this grant is going to be. It is likely going to be highly oversubscribed, and we know the demand is great for funding to enhance and enable climate action. But we are looking at a lot of competition across the country to put these funds to good use to reduce climate pollution. MDE has been coordinating with other states in our region, across agencies in the state government and with local governments here in Maryland. MDE is leading a submission on a Tier B application, will come in around $195 million, and participating in multi-state coalition applications in that Tier A, ranging from $300 million to $500 million with other states. The evaluation criteria is really focused on the authority to implement such measures and the greenhouse gas emission reductions from the measures described in the grant, and the benefits to low-income and disadvantaged communities as defined by the Notice of Funding Opportunity, and the benefits to those communities. So a little bit more details, and I think you all should have seen some of this in the status update email that went out and on our website. But we are underway, just a couple days away from submitting some really, I think, impactful proposals to advance climate action in Maryland. MDE will be submitting as the lead. I'll go to the second bullet here, a proposal in partnership with other Maryland state agencies and the District of Columbia on a coalition application to enhance and accelerate building energy performance standards implementation, focusing on buildings in LIDAC census block groups. We are also joining multi-state coalition applications, as I mentioned in the previous slide, to advance the Advanced Clean Trucks PCAP measure in the Maryland PCAP. We will be joining a group of states to the north, Connecticut, New Jersey, and Delaware, on a proposal focused on electric vehicle charging infrastructure for medium and heavy duty zero emission vehicles on the I-95 corridor. We're really excited to join. New Jersey is leading the submittal for that application. We are also joining another multi-state application to advance our PCAP measures around agricultural resource conservation and management, afforestation and improved forest management, and coastal wetland restoration and management with some of our fellow states to the south. That proposal is being led by and submitted by North Carolina, but we are in coalition with South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, and Maryland, and really excited to see how that proposal will come together. And just a heads up for folks with your hands up and any comments in the chat, we will be getting to those at the end of the presentation. So I know that the measures that I just described that are being advanced by the proposals that are going in for the CPRG for Maryland reflect some, but certainly not all, of the incredible ideas and projects submitted through our various submission channels, like our online submission form. And we know that there is substantially more investment that's needed for climate action across the state. So we're very excited to see that not only is the Maryland state proposals moving forward, but there are also locally led applications going forward for Maryland in other tiers, in Tier C and I think also Tier D, as well as another application moving forward from the Maryland Department of Transportation. So there are what we hope to see a really strong showing of applications going forward to the EPA to invest in Maryland's climate action and climate pollution reduction. What I've been, how I've been thinking about it is making sure that Maryland's on the map for the EPA in every funding tier and across many different types of measures. And so that there's lots of opportunities for the EPA to select and invest in Maryland through this competitive grant program. But we know there's a long road ahead and a lot more work to do. And so I did want to make yet another plug and reminder about our newly launched program for the Maryland Local Government Climate Action Support Program to assist counties and municipalities in identifying projects and building capacity across all of Maryland to drive climate action. This program includes outreach, technical assistance, and grant writing services through a technical assistance partnership with the Environmental Finance Center at the University of Maryland. The program will be focused on counties and municipalities that were not otherwise covered by a CPRG MSA planning grant, and those 12 counties are listed on the screen. And so our MDE and our colleagues at the Environmental Finance Center will be reaching out after we come up for air on those April 1 submission deadlines and be really doing a lot of outreach to launch this program and make sure it is providing the most effective support for the counties listed here. Another plug I want to make before I think I have a couple more plugs to make before we open up for questions. Another is about a complementary federal program that is being run through the Maryland Department of Transportation. The Federal Department of Transportation has a carbon reduction program, a very similar name and acronym to our CPRG program out of the EPA. And through that program, the Maryland Department of Transportation is making available $55 million available for projects in transportation that reduce greenhouse gas emissions. And MDOT has opened up a one-stop portal for transportation project submittals from metropolitan planning organizations, local governments, and the MDOT modes to submit into that grant program, which is being managed at the state level. So this they are federal funds, but they have already been allocated for Maryland, and so they're looking for those projects. MDOT is looking for project submissions by an April 30th deadline, and they do expect to provide the notice of intent to award in July and move forward this summer with allocating funds. So definitely wanted to flag for those of you who are working on projects relating to reducing greenhouse gas emissions in the transportation sector to check out that opportunity. We also have two more opportunities to share about upcoming training. Make a plug for our colleagues over at the Sustainable Maryland program. They're running monthly Sustainable Maryland webinars. The next one coming up next week on climate action planning. Definitely wanted to make a pitch for checking that out and sharing that resource widely with your networks, as well as I don't like to talk about October right now. Looking ahead on the calendar to the Maryland Clean Energy Summit in October as well. We are also partnered with the Maryland Clean Energy Center, who is gearing up for a spring and summer season of outreach across the state of Maryland, and wanted to share some of their goals here around enhancing energy literacy, promoting clean energy solutions, and highlighting the benefits of environmental sustainability through events across the state, across all 5 regions of Maryland. And so definitely wanted to raise some awareness about that ongoing planning for anyone who wants to learn more information, reaching out to our colleague Tarika at the Maryland Clean Energy Center. Really great opportunity to work across the state to enhance sustainability and climate action. And with that, Christian, I think we will close the video recording.